Hello everybody, welcome back to another Mortal Jellyfish video. Now whether you despise or you like list videos, today is a list video and we're going to be talking about the 10 best kits in Roblox Bedwars. Now, as exciting as it sounds, you may disagree with this list at some point during the video, and that's okay. Everybody's going to like kits differently. It all really just depends on your playstyle, and what you prefer is going to be what you like the best. This list, though, will include some defensive kits that I just don't like going against or I like to play. It'll have some offensive kits that I like and just offensive kits that I notice that are really strong to go against. So it's not necessarily just what I play, it's what I really just feel in the game is really strong and poses a decent problem to fight against, or, you know, they're just really strong to play. On that note, I do make Bed Wars content pretty often, so make sure to like and subscribe for more Bed Wars content like this. On that note, let's hop into our list here and let's do that. Okay, so hopping right into our list here, we're going to start off with our 10th, and then we'll make our way to the 1st. 10th being what I would assume on this list is the worst out of the 10, and then number 1 being the best. So coming in at number 10, we have our Season 2 kit that came out with the Battle Pass, and that is going to be Fisherman. Now, Fisherman is very RNG, or random number generator. It's very random, very luck based. You can cut down some of this luck a little bit by anytime you like get an iron fish or something, you know, fish that's unfavorable that you don't want. Maybe you don't want special fish, you don't want iron fish. So every time you see one of those, you'd walk and then you reset and you're just fishing for diamonds or emeralds. And every time you see one of those fish, you just take a few steps, cancel the animation of the fishing game, and throw a new line out there to get a new fish. That'll help some, but I've had some games where, you know, I'll fish up a goldfish and I'll just fish up diamond fish after diamond fish, and I'll have our diamonds maxed out like 5 minutes in the game. Or, you know, some games I'll just sit there and it'll be iron fish that I just cancel fishing over and over and over. Either way, I still prefer this kit as a farmer kit over beekeeper and farmer. I do prefer this kit the best just because I think when it does pop off, it really can pop off. You can also lower your chances if you play squads like I do a lot. You could bring 2 fishermen, and I notice with two fishermen, it's always pretty consistent with getting good upgrades and just good loot in general with 2 fishermen going at it. So Fisherman is going to be number 10, and now we're going to move into our 9th place spot. Now our 9th place spot is going to be a kit that's been in the game for quite some time, but I still think it holds a pretty valuable and a pretty decent place in the game, and that is going to be no other than Vulcan. So Vulcan's at our 9th place spot solely for his defense and just overall scouting and just guarding over areas with his turrets. So you get 1 emerald, you can go and you get this turret and you can slap it down. Boom, there you go, you know, pew pew pew, you're doing real swell. Really strong kit in that sense, that it can hold down areas. Maybe you got an enemy team that just continuously is trying to fight you for a diamond generator. You go over there, you slap that down in front of the diamond generator, and now you kind of control that diamond generator. You put it over your bed, you kind of own that. You put it near a bridge, you kind of own that. You know, and now they pretty much basically have to go out of their way to get a fireball for 90 iron, or they're going to have to get a lot of wool blocks and hopefully be skilled enough and fast enough to outbuild the turret. I think this is a very decent kit, has a lot of potential on defense and semi-offense. So yeah, Vulcan's number 9. Now we're going to move into number 8 here, and we're going to have an interesting kit that might be a little controversial to people, and that is Baker. Now Baker really came out to shine when he got his small buffs that he did during the whole Dodo extravaganza, plus with the Dodos, he was really paired well. The speed buff of the Dodos and the speed buff of his pie paired together really well to make a very menacing kit. I still think Baker to this day still has pretty decent utility for his team and himself with that speed pie. Apples I really don't care about. I know some people love them, but personally I think that Baker speed pie is what is holding him in this 8th place spot. Next up, we got number 7, and this one's a little bit wild here, but listen out here. So number 7 is going to be Elder Tree. And despite all the big content creators, or just almost every Bed Wars content creator in general, hating on Elder Tree, when Elder Tree came free that week, I saw every single one of those content creators complain that Elder Tree was really strong. Now, that's kind of weird, since they want to say it's weak. Why are they complaining that it was strong and annoying that week? And we haven't seen it come back since. I really think Elder Tree is a beautiful thing, especially when a team full of Elder Trees performs what I call Elder Tree Rush, which is where they just get the bare minimal amount of iron, buy wool blocks, rush your base, and on the way there they'll harvest a few spirit orbs, giving them a health advantage against you early game where you won't have your leather armor yet. This allows the trees just to get ahead real early, and if they can clap your base, then they'll be able to farm 2 iron generators, they'll grow into swords, and it kind of just ramps off with that rush thing. And I really do think Elder Trees are a really strong rush meta if played properly, but you typically need multiple on your team to pull it off. One helps a little bit, but if you have like 3 on your offense team and they're all Elder Trees, it's actually really gross. It's something I still play to this day from time to time. And I just think it's something that's worth noting. A lot of people like to put Elder Tree down and say it's bad. I still think it's a really swell kit, and I think it has a place on this top 10 list. Next up, though, we're going to move into number 6, and that is no other than Trinity. Now, Trinity has had a healing nerf to its Void form, but, you know, the Void form is still really good. It will still allow you to win matchups with equal gear, and heaven forbid people have less gear than you, you're really going to dominate them. Now, this kit does fall off a little later game as the healing becomes way weaker later game, and it's not as viable, but something that is super really good about Trinity is you get 2-for-1 deal. Remember that. You get the Void form and you get the Light form. So yeah, the Void form we just talked about, but the Light form is absolutely disgusting. If you get like 4 Light Trinities together, you almost cannot be killed unless you're voided. Because when you're like that and you're all mobbed together, everybody's healing everybody in your little mob of Light Trinities, and it's basically just unstoppable healing. I think I made a video on this a while back. If you're more interested in that, you could go look that up. Anyways, that's pretty disgusting, so that's why Trinity's on our number 6 spot. But let's move into number 5. Now, number 5 is going to be Grim Reaper, and now this one may surprise a little bit of people. His healing was nerfed by a lot, but I still think this is a very viable kit. Paired with things that can help you get a lot more frequent kills, something like Pyro or whatever, will definitely set this kit up really well, where he can constantly just get kills and constantly heal. Even in the infection game mode, if you're on the human side, this kit really shines there too, because you're constantly just getting spirits, becoming invincible, healing while invincible, and getting that speed boost. There's a lot of good utility in Reaper if you can kill somebody and get them down, so just make sure you outgear them. And then yeah, let's move into number 4. Number 4 on our list is going to be Vanessa. Now, this is like a brand new kit almost. I think it's the newest kit out right now. Anyways, what Vanessa does is she charges up, she shoots 3 arrows with a burst. Now, this is semi-strong when you have the bow, but when you get the crossbow, even after the nerf, it is still very strong. The knockback is mainly what you want here. Now, the damage is good, you know, it hits them 3 shots, but the damage falls off on the 2nd and 3rd arrow. But that knockback does not seem to fall off. So crossbow already knocks you back far enough with 1 shot. Now when you get hit by 3 of those, it basically launches you. Sometimes it'll trigger anti-cheat on you, which will just blop you in the void and everything else. And just with the whole overall, the huge knockback that Vanessa's bow strength has, bows are already strong, so a kit that accents bows with a little bit of an extra upgrade is just going to shine even more, and that's exactly what you get with Vanessa. You get that extra strength on the bows that are already a strong part of the game, and you know, you can't go wrong there, and that's why Vanessa's in our number 4 spot. Next up, we got our 3rd spot, and this is going to be a new kit as well. Surprise, surprise, new kits are broken. They're not fully tuned into the game yet. So, that third place is going to be Axolotl Amy, or Amy Axolotl. Amy is in our 3rd place spot just because she has probably the strongest support utility and just overall just solo fighting power in the game. She's kind of got like a Reaper heal if she gets her healing Axolotl, even though it is a bit expensive. Early on, she gets the shield Axolotl. And then she'll also get the damage Axolotl, which I noticed started buffing me earlier today when I was playing Pyro. It was making my Pyromancer, the Pyro flamethrower do way more damage. So I was like, ooh, that's kind of cool. And just with all that utility, you know, she's getting faster break speed, she's getting a shield, she's getting health regen, and she can give all this to her allies as well? Well, you know, that's got to be good, right? And it is good. It's a super good kit. So Amy is in our 3rd place spot just because she's got so much utility, especially the shield Axolotl. It's so cheap, so easy to get, and it's basically just free health for you and your team. And then, you know, early on you get the damage Axolotl, and it's now working, so that damage buff is beautiful. And just, yeah, Vanessa, big thumbs up from me. I think Axolotl Amy is in a good position here, and I'm happy to give her the 3rd place spot. Now, 2nd on our list is none other than Barbarian. One of the most original OG kits in the game, Mr. Free every other week. Barbarian, you know, you get the Rage Blade, you blow people up. The developers a few weeks back decided that this kit wasn't strong enough. They made him get his sword's easier, and now I'm consistently not every game, but consistently seeing Rage Blades almost every day that I sit down and play this game. And that is just because Barb is in such a good spot right now. It's so easy to get a Rage Blade as long as you just don't die over and over. You can bow spam, do what you gotta do, sword fight, and you'll just get that bow pretty quickly and you'll be going really, really strong. There's not much more I could say about Rage Blade. Rage Blade is disgusting. It is actually very strong, and you're not buying any swords to get there. Somebody's going to have to get 20 emeralds to match a Rage Blade, but I've been seeing people get Rage Blade so fast that there's not even a chance you would have Emerald Sword yet. So, that's going to bring us into our number one spot, but before we talk about the number one spot, I want to put in some honorable mentions. So some kits that could arguably made it on this list, but just weren't, in my opinion, there compared to the kits I did put on the list. So our first honorable mention that could have been on this list but just didn't get included is going to be Archer. Now Archer is very closely to Vanessa, except it's just more damage to bows, so they're both bow kits, but he just does more damage. Personally, I prefer the 3-shot burst, as the knockback becomes even more deadly, and that's the deadliest part of bows to begin with, where he's only going to buff damage. She kind of gets a damage and knockback buff, but at the cost of more arrows, he's just going to get more damage. But he is an honorable mention. If you already have Archer, you know, it's still a solid bow kit. And that's going to bring us into our second honorable mention. And that second honorable mention is going to be Spirit Catcher. Now, out of every kit that uses a consumable like Ares or Raven, I think I have to go with Spirit Catcher as my favorite out of all of them, or at least the most annoying. For like 35 iron or 30 iron, I can't remember the exact price, it's been a while since I played it, you get to throw these spirits on the ground. You can have up to 10 of them at a time, and they're going to knock back people, and if you stack them too much in one spot, it's going to trigger anti-cheat, and these people are going to be teleporting back and forth, and they're probably just going to die, because that's what Spirit Catcher does. So yeah, Spirit Catcher is definitely an honorable mention for this list. Now, I want to give one more honorable mention here before we move into number one, and that final spot is going to go to Jade. I still do like this kit, and I still do see it played quite a bit. The movement speed, now that dodo birds are gone, is back to being really strong. I just don't know if it's necessarily fits the current meta with how nerfed rushing has gotten. It is still a good kit, but, you know, rushing's a lot harder now, so, you know, sometimes it's a little bit nicer to have kits like Barbarian or something that's going to give you an actual offensive advantage rather than just a movement speed advantage. And with that said, folks, we're going to move right into that number one spot and talk about who I think is the best kit in the game. And if you know me pretty well, you already know I play this kit a little too much. And so, that number one spot is going to be Pyro. Now, I know this may make a lot of people unhappy because they don't really like Pyro, or they didn't play Season 1, they didn't buy the Battle Pass Season 1, whatever it may be. I know this may not be the kit you want to see in the number one spot, but for me personally, Pyro is number one. You go in for an early rush with like 16 wool with your teammates, then on that second rush back in or whatever you're doing, you just stop by mid, grab 2 emeralds, go back to your base, you buy this flamethrower. From there, you just start picking people off, getting some kills, getting some embers, and you start upgrading this thing. And eventually, by later mid to late game, this flamethrower is arguably as strong, if not better, than Rage Blade. It can cook multiple people at the same time. It's going to give really strong brittle debuffs. It has insane range. It can even do knockback. It has armor penetration if you want. Whatever way you want to take up your flamethrower, it can be very versatile. It's like a versatile Rage Blade in my opinion, and it grows stronger through the whole game. Now, there was a big nerf, I think. I don't know if it was a nerf or not. They didn't mention it. But Pyro is now losing embers when he dies. This is a shame to see, but even after playing Pyro today, it really, to me, is still clear that I love Pyro, and I still think Pyro is one of the top contending kits in the game. With losing embers, I do think losing embers makes this kit a little unplayable for some people. But yeah, basically, Pyro is now back to feeling like Barb now that you can lose those embers. But either way, a very super versatile weapon you're going to gain by playing Pyro. You know, just that fire damage, the range of it, the brittle. And in squads, I really think in the squads, if you want to be a destructive, like top decimating squad, you need one good Pyro on your team. I really think it makes like the world here. On that note, guys, that is going to be the end of our list, which means this is going to be the end of our video. which means we got nothing else to do here but take a little bit of time to thank our members. So thank you Mama Peace, thank you Redwood Deadwood, thank you Insolence Axolotl, and thank you Clockwork Gaming. Thank you all for being members channels, the members of the channel. It helps out a ton. And yeah, on that note, I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.